Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is AshQuest, and today we are doing a slightly different video. Yes, today we're doing a video where my facial hair is about the longest it's ever been on camera. Don't worry about that. No, today we are going to be browsing TheGameCrafter, and I'm going to show you / recommend to you / talk about games that I have either acquired recently or not, am acquiring, waiting on the pre-order or the crafts to take place or the game crowd sale to finish, or games that I'm wondering about acquiring, and we'll talk about the different features and stuff of each game. A lot of these are going to be priced well within your struggling budget, although by the time we're done, you'll likely have amassed several of them in a cart, and you will once again be cursing my name for punishing your wallet. Right off the bat on the front page, I see Doom Pilgrim, and I can talk about Doom Pilgrim. The creator is Warclaw Games, and the full version of Doom Pilgrim is $44.99. It is essentially a card game dungeon crawler, but it is for solo playing, and it is extremely narrative. You have 90 cards, one side of which is just art, vague, compelling, sinister, mysterious, ambiguous art from Warclaw Games, and on the other side is the text that will accompany each art piece to tell you what exactly is to transpire now that you have chosen that card. It's a very simple game. You basically have the 90 cards, or 60 or 45, depending on what length of game you'd like to play. And the deck that you are drawing from is your future, which makes sense, right? You draw 3 cards, and you don't look at the text at all. You just look at the pictures, and you choose a card to completely discard, take out of the game. You choose a card to visit later, which will go to the bottom of the Your Future deck, and you will encounter that card again, should you survive long enough to do so. And the third card will be the card that you have chosen to play. So you'll flip that one over and you'll read that one's text. Texts are just oozing with theme in this grim, dark, fantasy, medieval, magical, cursed world. I have a whole video on the mint tin-sized version of this game, which is effectively the exact same game in every way, shape, and form, except the cards are, of course, shrank down from the normal mega size that they are here, down to a mint tin-sized version, and the accompanying text on the back is slightly smaller, and a lot of the terms have been abbreviated so that it all fits comfortably on the card. I highly recommend trying the game out. Doom Pilgrim Pocket is very high on my list of tin games because it is so easy to break out and play and then put back in the tin to save if you live long enough to actually save your game, so to speak. It's very Dark Souls reminiscent because of the high death factor, because every card is basically either going to be a punishment, a challenge, a narrative in which something bad happens, which I guess is the same thing as a punishment, or something that's going to analyze your character in some way and say, okay, if you earned, 2 depression or 2 despair from a previous card, or your fear meter is oh so high, then you're going to get this other bad thing that happens to you. But there are ways to acquire gear and engage in combat and actually survive these cards in a specific set of orders that will facilitate winning at some cost. A search for Doom Pilgrim on the TheGameCrafter reveals the original game, the big box, the black bag, the pocket version, the small game mat, the big game mat, totally optional. It's just art. It's just a place for you to place your cards. The Freak Cults Dungeon and Doom Pilgrim Micro combination set, which Freak Cults Dungeon is a very short game from Warclaw Games, and then Doom Pilgrim Micro is basically like 9 cards from Doom Pilgrim just to show you how to play. Flails and Citadels, a proper expansion, Doom Deeper, and then Doom Deeper Pocket, which is, of course, the pocket version of the Doom Deeper expansion, intended to be used with Doom Pilgrim Pocket. I have Doom Pilgrim, I recommend it. I don't have Doom Deeper, but I have it on order. Doom Deeper is a 54-card expansion that includes 3 18-card expansions, basically for the Doom Pilgrim Pocket game. Futile Havens make the game easier by bringing more relief, helping, or healing points, and more easily achievable loot. That's nice. However, nothing's too bright in this corrupt world. Even these havens are hostile under specific circumstances. Fatal Ends make the game harder with cards that are mostly fatal, bringing doom on their own. Using these cards adds to the need to remember the danger aspect of the game. However, you can also remember under which circumstance the particular card is beneficial, and indeed, there can be some valuable gains here too, balancing the mortal risk. And finally, Pagan Echoes is a thematic expansion, adding the flavor of heathenry and paganism into the mix. Concerning difficulty, beneficial cards are mixed with threatening ones. I can't wait. Grim Lands Adventure is also on here. Same artist, and it's human art from Warclaw Games, made by human hands. A wonderfully consistent, grim, dark art style. Sorry, this artist is known as Droned Artworks. They contribute to Mork Borg supplements, third-party ones, and album cover art mostly for doom metal and dungeon synth bands. I can believe it. Sorry, Warclaw Games uses this artist for almost everything, though, if not everything, as far as I know. So that's why. That's why I misattributed there. Let's calm down. Let's move to a brighter place. Let's get happy. Spearmint Valley is a tin game that kind of emulates the gameplay loop of Stardew Valley, its inspiration, or its influence, or both. It's got a very peaceful, lovely pixel art style. I'm going to say 16-bit, top-down. It's a 1 to 3 player cooperative game about farming, friendship, and community. To win the game, players must complete a set of random goals in addition to forming friendships with revealed friend cards. Completing the goals and making friendships will require collecting resources from farming, fishing, mining, and fighting slimes. Resources can be spent to craft items or build buildings for passive benefits. The game takes place over 3 years, with each turn representing a season. New friend cards will be revealed at the start of each year, and they will restrict actions that players can perform during different seasons of the year. Managing time and planning actions to perform each turn is critical to winning Spearmint Valley. Here are 3 of the people or friend cards. We've got Scott, Michelle, and Andrew. Different playthrough videos on Scottronic's YouTube. This is actually ordered by me and will be arriving along with Doom Deeper, ironically enough. Cursed is a quick solo push-your-luck fantasy theme game perfect for when you are short on time. This is not at all an exaggeration. This game only takes about 3 to 5 minutes to play. And it just has cards, and every single card is rich with art and numbers and gameplay. You've got a layout kind of like this. You need to defeat 8 monsters and capture their souls in order to win. The problem is the entire deck of cards is kind of your time limit to do this. So with each draw, you are nearing closer and closer to your own ruinous death. I did a video on this one, so search the channel if you'd like to see it. I really love this game. I think it was extremely well done. It wastes no space on any of the cards. It wastes no cards. It wastes none of your time. And it would be very fun to see an expansion for this game. Managing the probability of getting loot and knowing exactly when to use that loot is extremely important in this game. The first 10 or 15 or 20 times or 50 times that you play it, or even the first 100 times, you may think, wow, it's impossible to win. But on that 101st or 1001st, 4758th play, when you do win, it is so sweet. And then it kind of kicks in what you're supposed to do, what you should have been doing all along. Tinhelm is a classic. It is easily probably the best mint tin game you can get. I don't know. I've got one in mind now that I think actually is vying for a tie with Tinhelm. I'll need to put some thought into it and weigh the games, but Tinhelm was easily my top pick from TheGameCrafter, my top pick for a tin game, and my second pick from Grey Gnome Games overall. The first one not being a tin game, but still something I'm going to go over really quick as we're browsing for games through TheGameCrafter. Tinhelm is a dungeon crawler dripping with wonderful style and thematic text on everything. Nothing about it is sterile. It's easy to learn, and it's very easy to set up and play, and especially play multiple games of in a single session as you try to make it through the dungeon alive. It is special, it is pretty tactical, and there's plenty of expansion type content for it. I guess by that I mean promo cards that are available in certain other expansions, as well as Tinhelm, which is a different standalone game, but whose cards can be mixed with this one to a pretty high degree to give you way more gameplay options. You owe it to yourself to check out a gameplay or tutorial, and I do have Tinhelm content on my channel yet again, so... Oh, and be a druid gnome if you can, or else a skull keeper. Oh wow, somebody else was actually the gnome druid. The gnome druid is OP. You're welcome. Also, protect the pigman at all costs. Protect the pigman. Iron Helm is in my top 10 games of all time. It is currently the best, the king of games on TheGameCrafter. It is, again, a solo dungeon crawler, and Tinhelm can kind of be thought of as the younger brother or the cousin of this game. It is a simplified version of all of the mechanics that go into this. But there is so much more content for Iron Helm, and it's all acquirable, usually at once in a bundle whenever all this stuff goes on sale, for around, well, under $200 if you're trying to get absolutely everything. The only things I don't have for this game, in fact, are the player's mat and the normal Iron Helm mat. And this stuff is printable. I suppose if you have access to a neoprene printer, you can make your own mats as well. This deck box is wonderful, and all of the expansions and everything fit into it, and it doesn't take up very much space at all. It's like this much. It's a very, very scientific measurement, this much. By the way, surviving the first dungeon is a little bit like playing through the trial on HeroQuest. If you can make it through the very challenging first dungeon, then you're ready to start building your character and bringing them into other places, measuring out what exactly you'd like to try to accomplish. There are a lot of ways to play as well, lots of different paths that you can take, lots of different expansions to play in different orders, and there's even a FAQ out there, a frequently asked questions. So really, no stone has been left unturned. I highly recommend Helm and all of its expansion content, but most of all, Iron Chest, which comes in its own attractive box. All right, I said that I was considering tying Tinhelm with another tin game, and I think honestly that Judgment of the Realm Lords is taking that spot. This is not really a dungeon crawler, it's more of a world crawler, but it has all of the flavor and all of the thematic elements and mechanics of a dungeon crawler. You can go check out Game Shrine's videos on how to play, watch their full playthrough, or watch their tutorial on how to pack the game back up into the tin enclosure, because that is actually a thing. It is jam-packed full of content. Truly, this is worth its $26.99 price tag, at least in my humble opinion. It is a 30 to 60 minute experience for one player, again, ages 12 years and up. And it has so much. You've got 6 towns. You've got 3 micro decks of trinkets, armor, weapons. You've got 10 characters that you can choose from and level up any way you like. You have 18 different enemies you can fight and 6 different bosses. And you have to conquer 3 of the bosses, known as Realm Lords, in order to win the game, or just conquer one of them if you roll the right one. After a couple of plays, you'll quickly identify your playstyle and the types of characters that you're going to go for. I like a heavy hitter, and not necessarily somebody who has to roll high on one specific parameter, but somebody who's going to do a lot of damage if I do roll high on a parameter. Now, 24 enemies total. There are 6 different enemy types that can be applied to each of the 24 enemies. They play quite differently depending on what type they have assigned to them. Enemy type determines the probability of that enemy's stance, and the stances change every single round of combat. The stance system is one of the most creative and brisk ways of combat management that I have seen in a game, 10 games notwithstanding. I have a lot of praise for this, and I actually think that it needs to have an expansion, not because the game isn't complete in its own right. It is very, very robust and complete. It's insanely impressive for what it is. You could have easily sold this in a huge board game box, and it would have been just perfect. But an expansion to add more land types and more features on the cards, and maybe make for larger games and longer games and possibly multiple player. I mean, there's all kinds of ways this could go if it had expansions, and I would buy every single one of them. Axebane has a ton of stuff on the GameCrafter, including his famous deck of many dungeons. This is a 54 card playing card deck, basically. You've got your standard 4 suits. You've got all of your standard ranks, king, queen, jack, but every single card has a dungeon feature on it, and you can use this to very quickly build out your own dungeons. It's got some instructions for how to do that, but of course you could just look through the deck and decide what features you'd like your more advanced dungeons to have if you want to base them more on a specific kind of challenge. It is a home brewer / dungeon master's tool, and the art is beautiful because Axebane is an extremely talented artist. You'll probably recognize it because Axebane did a lot of the art for a lot of Grey Gnome games, including Tinhelm and Helm. I have a video on Axebane's deck of many dungeons, and on that note, I also have a video on Judgment of the Realm Lords on the back one, on the last one, the last game that we looked at. Now, you can get on the GameCrafter and search for Mint Tin games, but you're not always going to get them because they're not always advertised as such. Some of them are very cleverly named, like Judgment of the Realm Lords, or Tinhelm, or Spearmint Valley, kind of cluing you in on the form factor of the game. But some of them here, like Canopic Jar Curse, you're going to have to dig a little bit to find, and that's fine. Canopic Jar Curse is a tin game. Signal boosting, I don't have this, but it is in my wish list at this point as I gear up for another order of tin games in the future. It is an Egyptian tomb-styled dungeon crawler, and our meeple even has a lovely hat. Here's a picture of some of the assets. Really, this is all I need to see. This is fine. And you can check out Alex Clay's YouTube channel where he has the solo card game preview, playthrough. Looks like we can choose from 3 different heroes with customizable stats. Explore the tomb, disarm traps, escape the mummy. In this solo dungeon crawler, you play as an explorer trapped in an Egyptian tomb pursued. I was going to say plagued, but I guess it works either way. Do I edit this? Nah, I leave it in. Ash screws up his non-scripted video monologues quite often. And sometimes I remove those, but sometimes I leave them in. You don't care, let's continue. Pursued by a vengeful undead mummy. Thank goodness it's an undead one. You must run, fight, dodge, and disarm traps as you explore the tomb. Your goal is to find and destroy the 4 canopic jars housing the mummy's vital organs. Are they undead? Gross. Only then can you defeat the mummy and break the curse. Choose between 3 playable characters. Each character has a different primary stat and starting item. Gain gold through combat and exploration to upgrade your character's stats. Pass skill checks to defeat enemies, disarm traps, or to escape when things go sideways. But the longer you spend in the tomb, the greater the effect of the Pharaoh's curse upon you. This is Alex Clay's only game, but it's on my list. And I will be unboxing it and going all through it here for you whenever I get it. Or you can just go check out the existing materials that are available now. I haven't seen this before. I just found it now. This is Dungeon in a Box, and from the looks of things, it uses the free icons from gameicons.net. These are icons that anybody can use. You can use them if you are trying to make a game. The only requisite is that you credit the artists for each of the icons that you use. But like if you're using the 1000 icons from Delapoit, then you just have to provide credit one time in one spot, maybe in the manual or something. But anyways, enough of that. This looks really interesting. We've got a lot of different enemies right here in the header for this. We have a print and play version for just $1, which is amazing. So you can see how it plays before you decide to maybe buy a more professional looking physical version. Comes with 3 slider clips, 8mm D6. So cute. A black cube and a small square deck of 24 cards, a poker hook box, and 18 poker-sized cards. I enjoy that. I also just really like seeing people use the icons from gameicons.net instead of crappy AI slop. I would play a game that has these simplified vector graphics any day over something that has lavishly created 2-paragraph long prompted AI crap. That's pretty much all I have for now. I do have several other Mint Tin games, but I don't want to spoil all of them. I do recommend checking out Grey Gnome Games for Gate and or Gates, and especially Tinhelm, Tinhelm. Dust Runners if you'd like something that's a little more mutant, dystopian, Mad Max vibes, or Desolate if you'd like space horror. As for me, I'm continuing to build up my next order. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next exciting adventure. Until then, brave heroes, farewell for now.